All right.
Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us on the weTHRIVE podcast. My name is Casey Clark, and I'm the founder and Chief Growth Officer of C. Clark Consulting. And I'm so excited to continue to share stories from entrepreneurs from around the world about how they're creating an impactful legacy. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing you to Lloyd Malech, who is the attorney and owner of the law office of Lloyd A. Malech. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, you're welcome, Casey. Thanks for inviting me. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I started my law practice shortly after law school. So that's one of the things professionally. I have been doing the practice of law for, I believe it seems like only yesterday, but it's about 27 years so far, and it's going great. And before that are a little bit more personal things as far as my background. I grew up in New Jersey, and I went to Rutgers College. After I graduated college, I took a year off, backpacked with some buddies across Europe, had a good gap year between college and law school. I came down to GW Law and spent 3 years there, realized that this was the place for me, and never left, never went back to Jersey. I miss New Jersey, but Maryland's now my home. I've been here more than half my life. I have 2 kids, one son who is in college and a daughter who is a junior at Churchill High. So I think those are the exciting little things about, well, at least I don't know how exciting it is, but that's my background. That's what you got.
Awesome. So as you know, the name of the podcast is weTHRIVE. So talk to me a little bit about what the word thrive means to you.
So that is a great word because, and for also, whether you know it, the name of it is weTHRIVE. We can't leave out the we part because we thrive is a lot different than just thriving. Yes. And so since you've asked, I figure, well, we could all do it on our own. We could all make what we got to make of ourselves. We are in America, the land of opportunity. But in order to really just do more than get by, in order to thrive, you really need other people. So I have an appreciation of your name with the weTHRIVE podcast series, but really it's a matter of working together, getting some synergy with others. Try to be a team player. I'm a solo practitioner, so the fact is that my team is being built as we speak, and it's getting bigger and it's getting better, and it's just great getting out there and meeting all kinds of people, and I guess together we thrive. It's really it's a great world we live in. It's excellent.
It is, definitely. So what obstacles have you faced when you've been trying to get to that point of thriving?
Okay. Well, I feel as though I'm kind of a lucky guy. Just things seem to break in my direction, and I'm trying to figure out why. Why am I not? I don't know. I don't want to say like some of my clients, but why when I'm talking about the clients, we're talking about I used to do some criminal defense work. Why am I thriving while I see all these other people who are not? And do I chalk it up to just good luck, or what? I like to give it a lot to luck, but there's also the fact that I guess we really got to work hard. So it's one of the other things, but as far as the setbacks are concerned, I've been in practice for many, many years. And I guess as with business cycles, things go up and down. And there was a period of time not too long ago where I was going through some personal hardships that really, really made it very difficult for me to focus my energy and my attention on my practice. And I wasn't ignoring the clients, but I just wasn't taking on any new clients. I was in the midst of a very difficult divorce. Oh, by the way, my law practice is a divorce and family law practice. For those in your audience, I think you might know that. But I went through my own divorce not too long ago. And it was very, very taxing emotionally and mentally and financially. And I was unable to really build and work on the practice. And I don't want to say it well, it withered. It didn't die, but it was definitely not all it was cracked up to be. Well, as soon as that ended, the divorce, it was finalized. I probably took a month to shake it all off and, to get it past me. And I don't know if you ever really get 100% past it, but it gets easier. So a month or two went by, and then all of a sudden we're struck with the COVID epidemic, which made it harder to pick up where I had left off prior, a few years back. But anyway, talking about thriving, I went out, I started networking, I started marketing, I started hiring people. I put my energy into it, and I'm amazed how optimistic I am about the future. I am really, really excited. I mean, just last night, I was in the office till 12:30 a.m. Okay, not p.m., but a.m., that's late. Went home, after I unwound a little bit, went to sleep. I woke up at 4:30 in the morning, tried to get back to sleep. I couldn't. And like, well, that's it. I'm up. So I got back into the office by 7 o'clock. I had a meeting at 7 o'clock. I was going to do it from home, but I just did it from here. So if I fall asleep on you, Casey, that's why. And that's why I'm drinking the coffee. I have a big cup of coffee. So, but yeah, but the point is, I was so excited about getting back to work today. I was like, all right, let's just get up and just do it. So anyway, so things are going well, and pretty excited.
That's awesome. So let's go back to the obstacle and the divorce. I have to ask.
Mm-hmm.
So as a divorce attorney, how do you pick an attorney, or do you represent yourself, or how does that work?
Oh my God, that's a funny question. Yes, I would love to represent myself, but there's an old adage about the attorney who represents himself having a fool for a client. So, I know about that, and I couldn't do it myself. So it was tough to find the right attorney. I needed someone who could match the personality of my adversary. A very strong personality is what I was looking for in that particular attorney at that time. And I felt that she did a really good job. And I stuck with her for a while. It got to be too expensive. I mean, you have to be reasonable. And at some point I said, all right, I got to find somebody who could help me out. So a lot of it was under control. I took a lot of the reins, but I did bring another colleague friend of mine to be working tandem with me, but to do, I guess, the cross-examinations, the preparation. I mean, he did a lot. I don't want to sell my second attorney short. He did a very, very good job as well. But I was kind of spending a lot of my day, if I could build myself for myself, I would have done well, but I couldn't, and I couldn't build it at all. But it did save me some money, being with the skills I have and the insights I had. And one of the things that I'd also say is just knowing, like, the knowledge I have from the profession, from doing this for a living, going into it, I was so much more prepared than someone would. And I mean, my general advice is I wish I could tell everybody what I know before they get involved, before things start getting bad.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always get bad. A lot of people do come out okay. I mean, everyone comes out okay in the end, but it's not always a really difficult divorce. I feel like mine was a high conflict divorce, is what we say. And I think this is really a euphemism, but it was tough. But knowing that, I certainly anticipated a lot of the moves. And that's one of the things I now could say, having gone through it myself. If my clients are stressed out, again, I'm not their therapist, I'm not their divorce coach, but I could certainly lend an ear and give some friendly, sound, experiential, encouragement, besides the rest of the stuff that I do. So
That's awesome, though.
I think it made me a better lawyer. So,
yeah.
Tough times, though.
Always a silver lining.
I said I was optimistic, very optimistic about the future. Yeah, and it was probably the worst period of my life anyway. But that's
Wow.
So better now.
So what are some resources that you use to get through that period, or even just maybe through law school or any period in your life?
So what resources have I used to get through that? Well, I have a network of friends who we're close friends. We will call each other whenever, text each other whenever, keep up with each other, make sure that we're all doing okay. So that's kind of a nice network to have as far as that. With law school, I got really lucky because I happened to fall into a really nice group of law students with me. They were going through the same experience. And this is not to take anything away from the military guys, because I have never served in the military, but I kind of throw first year of law school into the class of life experiences, like, go to boot camp. I mean, it's just they overwork you. You're up all the time. There's more work than you could possibly do. You don't know what's going to be happening next, and you just have to somehow come out the best you can. So, but going through with a bunch of really good guys, we bonded, we became friends. We're still friends to this day. So that was a nice way to help get through that tough time. So it was not as tough as the divorce, but I only recommend law school to people who really want to be lawyers. So you got
that's a good point.
Yes. It's like, well, I know all these guys who came out of law school, one guy's a minister, and other guys in, selling cars, and other guys, went to the family business. But,
Wow. I can't imagine putting all that work in and not utilizing it.
Right. Exactly. So anyway, I always wanted to be a lawyer. So that's good.
That's very interesting. So speaking of that, when did you really determine that you wanted to be a lawyer? Were you really young or in high school?
Well, it was always like one of those things that I figured I had an aptitude for. I wasn't 100% sure that I was going to go right into law school. So that's why I took the year off to find myself. It was after I did my excursion over in Europe that I took the LSATs, the admissions, to get to law school. And but it was one of those things. It's funny. There's a lot of people in my family. I had an uncle who was a judge. I have another uncle who's a lawyer, a couple cousins who were lawyers. There's just a bunch of us around. So it was always something that I was around. It wasn't like foreign to me in that respect. And those people in my family who were not lawyers were businessmen primarily, and mostly self-employed. So I figured, I guess I come from a long line of entrepreneurs and lawyers, and well, here I am, an entrepreneurial lawyer having my own firm. So I guess it's like, kind of predictable. Yeah, it was inevitable. It was.
That's awesome.
Uh-huh.
That is awesome. So you said that you're a family law attorney.
Yes.
And I am so intrigued to hear about what you have to say about legacy. So first, when you hear that word, what do you think of?
Well, I think of a trust and estate lawyer, not necessarily a family lawyer. That's what I think. But, yes, I bequeath my legacy to my firstborn son. I don't know. But what do I think of when I think of legacy? Well, it's like I'd like to see if I could leave something, a mark, hopefully positive, on this world. Now that I'm here, what am I going to do? I remember, I think when I was maybe a freshman in college or something, I figured I was thinking about legacy back then. It's like, I got to write the great American novel. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write it with everyone, And I was like, well, I'm not really that good of a writer. I mean, I could, I could talk, but so that was one thing that I thought could be legacy. Another thing was well, maybe I'll just make millions of dollars and I have a foundation and leave a legacy that way. Well, that's still a good idea. I'm not counting that out. I'm counting out the book, the Great American Novel. No, but it's more than that. If I could leave something behind, if I could have I guess at my funeral, people would actually show up would be good. So, and maybe say nice things about me. But basically, really, if I could just have something have at least made a little bit of a mark that I've been here and I made a difference in people's lives. And I know that it's always rewarding for me when I get clients to come back after years and just check in and say, thank you, Mr. Malech, for helping me out when I was a kid and was going through a hard time. or I have, divorce clients who come back and say, "Oh my God, you treated me like family when you really helped me get through it. I couldn't have done it without you." And there's little things like that that are part of the joys that you get. And a lot of people think of lawyers as, well, I don't want to put any thoughts in anyone else's head, but lawyers are not always portrayed in the most positive light in the media. We'll put it that way, diplomatically. But I don't consider myself like that. I consider myself a little different than that. I just, I work with my clients. I try to become part of their lives, at least for a period of time, and make a difference. And of course, do everything I can to get them what they need and get them what they want, and hopefully make them happy, keep them happy. So.
Yeah. I mean, going back to your point about the divorce being like the most difficult part of your life, I can imagine that a lot of your clients you're making such a huge impact on because you're helping them through what's probably the most difficult time. So,
right. And although you could know that objectively, to have gone through it, you really know it objectively and subjectively too, because yes, I get it. I can really empathize now. So,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to wish it on anybody. I mean, hopefully everyone has long and healthy, happy marriages. And, if we could fight the dentist, want to fight tooth decay, but, so I want to fight divorces. I mean, if you people could be happy, that's better. And if someone ever comes into my office for a consultation, there's no pressure to do anything. It's always the question I want to ask them: is there love? Is this reconcilable? And if they do express that there's love and reconciliation, I'm like, I don't want to say goodbye. Here's your advice. This is what you need to know, because it may happen, but see if you can, take some time and get through it, because you'll be better off. You don't want to do it unless you have to, or you. It is something not to be taken lightly. So.
That's awesome that you have that approach, though, because some people are like, "Oh, they're here. Let me just, take their money." So.
Oh, I know those guys. I mean, there's some of my colleagues on the outside and other firms. I just really do not like going up against these guys, because they're just sitting there trying to spend their clients' money down, costing me to have to spend my clients' money down, and that may be a litigation tactic that some people use. I don't subscribe to that at all. That is not the tactic that you would get if you came here. I put my clients' interests ahead of my own. So. Maybe I would have the $1 million legacy if I was like that, but that's not the way I'm going to do it. I'll get there. I'll get there otherwise.
Slow and steady wins the race, right?
Exactly. I think it's a positive attitude, and knowing that I'm going to be there. I'm knowing that I'm going to be able to do what I want to do. I know it. It's you have some setbacks, but you got to persevere.
Yeah, absolutely.
That way we could all thrive. So
yes,
do it.
That's way to tie it back.
Do it.
So speaking of persevering, for anyone who is maybe in a marriage or going to law school or anything, what nuggets do you have for them?
If you're going to law school I'll do the second one, then if you're going to law school, first year is really the toughest year. If you can get past that, you could make it. And for those of you who are in marriages, there are plenty of good marriage therapists, marriage couples counselors out there. Before you see me, make sure you exhaust all other choices, because it's a big decision. And if anyone out there who's listening to this in your audience wants to call me and talk to me about whatever, I would be happy to give them, the time of day, and go talk about them, what's going on with their lives. Is there any way I could help them? If there's anything they need. So, I got a few nuggets still left. I'm not going to give them all right now, but there's a few more I got.
Okay. So meet with Lloyd, and he'll give you the rest of the nuggets.
Yeah, exactly. Come.
Too funny.
Yeah, my phone's gonna be ringing off the hook now. Right?
Like, I listened to your podcast. What's the nugget? That is too funny. Mm-hmm. So is there anything that you would like to share that you're not going to hold hostage from us?
Oh, last I don't know. There's so much that we could talk about. I guess I would say this. If you believe in yourself, if you are optimistic, if you are in a dark place, just always know you will get through it. You can do what you need to do. You gotta want it, you gotta believe it, and you can achieve it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that's a great note to end on. And thank you so much for joining us. It was great to laugh with you.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's great to talk to you too, Casey. I had a good time. I did. It was
Good.
We got to do it again sometime.
Yes, I'm definitely glad you joined us today. And I'd also like to thank our music sponsor, Stephen Lamar Moore, who produced the music for our podcast. So thank you all for listening, and thank you again, Lloyd.